Hey guys, First and Weather here. This video will be about forecasting the El Nino conditions or La Nina conditions of the waters west of South America. This first image is provided by the NMME model, or models I should say, and this is provided by the International Research Institute for Climate and Society. So if we look at this image, we can see that the mean or so-called consensus of all these models is that these models are taking it to negative ENSO conditions, cool ENSO conditions, not positive. So ENSO conditions are when temperatures are from 0 to 0.5 or from 0 to negative 0.5 Celsius. Anything above 0.5 is El Nino, weak El Nino, moderate El Nino, super strong El Nino, and then anything below negative 0.5 is La Nina. So as you can see, almost all of the models are keeping it in that neutral range all the way till March. So there's relatively high confidence that we're going to be in neutral conditions for the next 6 months or so. However, where it gets tricky is whether these conditions will be in a neutral positive phase or a neutral negative phase. And as you can see from this chart, or this image I should say, this line during the months of December, January, and February is actually slightly negative. And as you can see, by February it starts to become a little more positive. But this new trend, it really is interesting, because a couple of months ago even, this line was over here at the 0.5 Celsius threshold, and it's gone all the way down. And that can have even a temperature difference of 0.3, 0.4 Celsius, 0.8 Celsius, can have huge impacts on our winter. And then again, this is only one factor in deciding our winter. There are probably 5, 6, 7 more factors that also have considerable importance when making your winter forecast. So this is something that is interesting to watch, and I'll be keeping an eye on it if this line continues to trend downward, but right now that's looking unlikely. This next image is a probability forecast, and this is actually a very recent model run, mid-August, so mid-August 2017. And so, as you can see, during the months of January, February, and March, and December, January, and February, you can see that the highest probability are neutral conditions, with the next highest being La Nina conditions and for December, January, and February, and El Nino conditions for January, February, and March. What this tells me is that we'll start with negative neutral conditions in December, January, and February, and slowly start to creep up to positive ENSO conditions as we head into later parts of winter. And if we go down to this table over here, we can see that during the months of December, January, and February, we have a 55% chance of seeing neutral conditions and then a 24% chance of La Nina conditions, while in the months of January, February, and March, we have a 61% chance of seeing neutral conditions and a 22% chance of seeing El Nino conditions. Now, this image is a measure of the waters west of South America in the 3.4 index region, and as you can see, for the past 10 days or so, the waters have been cooling dramatically, which has really caught me by surprise. As you can see, these waters have gone steadily down, and we're actually now technically in a weak La Nina phase. However, to have a weak La Nina, you have to have an extended period of waters below negative 0.5 Celsius. But technically, right now, we're below that 0.5 Celsius, negative 0.5 Celsius threshold. And so, if we look at another image, we can see that the waters west of South America are actually very cool. And if we look at the 7-day anomaly change, you can see that temperatures have been cooling steadily, actually. Actually, no, my bad. This is the 7-day anomaly change, while this is the current sea surface temperature map. As you can see, we have relatively cool waters west of South America, and we have an extremely weak positive PDO right now, because you can see we have a little sliver of cool water over here, and then a slight band of slightly above average water temperatures right along the coast. This might not even be categorized as a positive or warm phase PDO. But something that caught my eye is all these waters hugging the coast have been rapidly cooling for the past 7 days, and this is how it's been for the past few months actually. So my gut feeling right now is we're still really far away, so this still has a good chance of changing, but right now my gut feeling is ENSO conditions in the negative phase, a slightly negative or cool phase PDO, and a negative NAO. Right now, I'm not going to make my forecast on what this could mean for this winter, because there are many other forecasts like Siberian snow cover, sunspot activity, stuff like that. But that is what I'm going with right now. And now, if we look at this image, this is generally what an ENSO neutral winter pattern, pattern is. This image is provided by the National Weather Service, and as you can see, generally during ENSO winters, we usually have cooler or below average temperatures in the eastern portions of the country, the upper Midwest, and generally warmer conditions in the southern United States. Also, we usually have wetter conditions here. Why? Well, usually what happens is you have this jet stream dipping down, and then you have this strong subtropical jet stream, and where they meet, you can have rapid intensification of storms, and usually they meet up right along this area, so you have storms tracking up the coast and bringing sometimes very heavy snowfall amounts to the eastern coast, the mid-Atlantic, and even the southeast. However, I cannot stress enough, just because there's a good chance of seeing neutral conditions this winter, that doesn't mean this is how the winter is gonna play out. Why? Well, there are many other factors that come into play: the PDO, the NAO, the AO, many more factors. And so I'll only get a good idea of what this winter could be like once those factors become clear and I get a better grasp of what those conditions will be like. Will we see a negative NAO, positive NAO, negative PDO, positive PDO? Those are all things that will become clearer as we head closer to winter, probably around late October. And that's this video for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.